Hi, it's Shar. It is January 1st, still the new year, and I am just going through some thoughts that I wanted to share that, how does this system fix itself? There is a woman here in Des Moines, her name is Tiffany, who has shared a story with me, and this woman has to continue to go and appeal to the Board of Appeals to keep her abuser behind bars. And so she was victimized by him. She has to go through this and she has to continue to relive this. And what could stop this process? What reform, what I'm going through, what could stop this? And one of the things that just came to me, and I have to note these because I forget them, is when my children were little and I would come in the door, and let's say, like my oldest daughter, there's 6 years between her and her little sister. And I came in the door once, and her little sister's 8, and she's 12. No, 14, sorry. And we had an office, and we had our home computer in that office. And her older sister wanted to use it, but Riley, my youngest, was on the computer. And my oldest daughter, Mackenzie, actually went into the room physically, picked her up, and took her in the other room, put her on the couch, got on the computer, and Riley didn't get to get on the computer. And so when I got home from work, Riley shared that experience with me. And in the moment that it happened, that it's just sad. And it's sad that Riley had to go through that. But I thought, what can I do so that the bigger thing that Riley felt, well, there's two things, was that she was not heard and she felt disempowered. And so, what could I do to make her feel powerful? And so, I got Mackenzie in the room. We talked about what happened and maybe some different ways that she could have handled the situation that would have worked for each other. Hey, Riley, you know what? I want the computer in a half an hour. Riley gets for that way. Riley could finish up what she's doing, and Kenzie gets it, or vice versa. But because she didn't do that, and you went and you violated her as a person, or what she felt like as a person, what's going to happen now is Riley gets to pick your punishment, and it could be anything. And she has to do it for as long as Riley thinks she needs to do it. Because the other thing that helps is it helps them learn to manage themselves, and it's not relying on me to be that justice. And the other thing is it helps because if I were to step in and punish my oldest one, Mackenzie, then she's still going to be mean to Riley. It's not going to overcome the situation to lean on the system without giving them the skills that they're going to need to get through life, to figure out how to problem solve, and also to problem solve through hard situations. And so I believe Riley had picked that Mackenzie had to clean her room. And Mackenzie came to me, and Mackenzie was like, how long do I have to do it? And I was like, she's the one that gets to pick that. You get to do it until she decides your punishment is over. And the beautiful thing that happened is you got to see a softening on both parts, and that they talked and that they worked things through. And, it empowered the one who lost the power, and it humbled, if not humbled, it at least taught a lesson to Mackenzie, and also the correct behavior going forward. And even more than that, that it wasn't left up to a third party how long this would go on. Part of Riley seeing her sister go through that punishment also was her, that empowerment helped her get over feeling like she was a victim. And it's part of what's wrong with our system right now, is that we go to this third party judge, and I believe that is needed to keep chaos in order. But I don't know necessarily if that's who we need to be deciding the punishment and the length of it. Why aren't we allowing the victims within reason? And what I mean within reason is, you're not going to send someone to death for beating you up in the moment you feel like you should. But, maybe what you do is you make them volunteer on community service. Maybe you make them give you a weekly book report on women who had to overcome adversity, and research Susan B. Anthony, or it's educating them on what they're not educated on would be part of the punishment. And that's why the system is broke, is that right now we go back to a person who has no involvement at all in the situation to decide the outcome. And that's the problem, is that it should be the people who are involved in the situations who are finding the solutions and the outcome. And there's an overseer to the process, but it's not there's no emotional involvement with this person up here. So especially when you're talking about abuse or things that have a lot of emotion in it, you need someone to oversee it to make sure it's kept in guidelines, but to have and the goal is to empower the victim so they get their feet back below them. So anyway, just wanted to share that thought with you. Bye.